Every other time with Eric, long-awaited episode, man. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. I got a couple of legends in the building, living legends. We have Mwafreeka and Ian from Iko Nini. How you guys doing, man?
Yeah.
We good. Wewe?
Karibuni sana.
Yeah, tunaona unaendelea kupaa tu.
Yeah. Maybe I think you're nakaribishwa hapa for the first time.
Yeah, karibu sana, man. It's the first time. Yeah, this is the way the magic happens. As you can see, it's a home studio.
Yeah.
Karibuni sana. How you guys doing, man?
We're good. I don't know if you watched the episode I did with Kasipul. Akisema kuna mtu anakula upepo kama mimi. Hakuna mtu anakula upepo kama mimi. I was like, kukula upepo unafanya nini? Fly.
But it's weird to see fanatics like that in today's world, eh? Like a fanatic like that for Gava. What kind of check is that? That's a monthly stipend?
I think TZ is I don't know, but I think TZ, if you have the right access to kiss, it has to be something. Because apart from him, there used to be this other one, this Chawa, Mwijaku.
Mwijaku, yeah.
Yes, so he was the Kenyan version of Mwijaku, and then he joined Mwijaku there. So I think that works in TZ.
Is
Kenyan
Kasipul English? Kenyan? Or is
Yes,
Yes, very
Kenyan,
much
yeah.
Kenyan. Useme kuwa
Sinimsiwa Kasipul, literally Kasipul Kabondo, Kasipul.
Yeah.
Because his accent has that's Swahili
Yeah,
undertone.
yeah.
That's taught. Plant, rather.
Otile Brown style.
Wow.
Yeah.
But for him I think the enemy is poverty. If it's embodied in a person, it's Kasipul. Just try everything. Hata kama ni kupiece off watu. Nakumbuka tulipatia story yenye alikuwa na bike anabeba fake car keys za Benz.
Fake it till you make it.
Every other time anaangusha key holder ya Bentley.
But you guys, a lot is happening, man. In Kenya, Maze, we have of course, we're coming off the back of what happened to Kinaboni. And then recently, of course, this whole Albert story. And what you guys think about that? Of course, I've been seeing you guys really pounding Gava.
It's
the police force.
But I won't lie. This time it's a little bit scary. So the only thing that we are lying to ourselves is Lagat can't go for everyone. Because this time it's everyone. Like I even saw some post by Nani. What's his name? This guy who says some crazy stuff. Gaido. Gaido is like the greatest, the biggest conspiracy theorist. So he had this post where he said the way he knows where Albert was killed, blah, blah, blah. And so we're in such a situation. So now the worst thing about when you're in a field where you're trying to be rational, na kuna tu lunatics tunakimbia huko nyuma wakiwa uchi, it makes it like a little bit tricky for all of us. But it's I'm just hoping that because of the spotlight, he won't react.
I think the most abysmal thing I've seen people trying to throw a spin on is that whole Karanyamu thing, saying where it's opposition who planned and we kill a guy so that these guys can disturb government. What do you think about that kind of sentiment?
Not on the payroll to make the master look good at all times. So I think their mindset, anything that is opposing the government, you defend first, ask questions later. So I think at that time, they were still going with the suicide narrative. And of course,
wait, they tried to say he committed suicide?
Yeah.
And he's banged his head against the wall.
He banged his head against the wall.
I didn't see that.
That was the first.
That was the first thing
statement
they released.
Yeah.
That's why, on Wednesday, the guy had to apologize. The
IG.
Yes, the IG had to apologize for that suicide thing.
You brought up an interesting perspective. You said they are on the payroll.
Of course.
Is it payroll, ama it's fear? Like, and I want to show them.
Akina Karenyao?
Yeah, are they pledging allegiance? Not rather than it's a check directly. Are they pledging allegiance when they do such things?
You can also look
there's
at
a
it
fear
from that,
factor.
and then there's always that phrase that Rapture uses.
Yeah.
Nakalamba vile inafaa.
Designer ina wengi.
Designer ina wengi. So sometimes I think it's just kukalambaing. Like I don't know if you watched Django Unchained.
Of course.
The whole thing of
couple of times.
Yes, master, we are sick. You understand? Like you are so in love with your master that. So I think that's what's happening with them. Alafu plus another thing that I hear is Ruto makes you rich beyond your wildest dreams. I always give the example of Opio Wandai. this guy used to be so angry as an opposition guy. Nowadays he can't stop smiling. So that's it. Alafu before Mbadi joined government, had you ever heard that Mbadi had gone for Harambe and akapatiana kitu yote?
It's 1.5 million.
It's even weird to see, but also Dura was here. Of course, you guys know Dura Waroing. And he said exactly what you said. He said, it's money you can't imagine. It's money you can't...
Beyond, wildest
dreams. Maybe right now in your mind, if... guys like you right now, maybe your fantasy would be how much?
I mean, akinipatia $1 million jo ntaanda.
Now imagine the guy gives you 3. You wanted one.
Itabidi munite sell out. But alafu, the thing I always find interesting with people is people will always be like, no, I'd never do it. It's not been put in front of you. Because personally, if I look at $1 million, I'm like, this is generational wealth. Is it coming at a bad cost? It's not. It's coming at a bad cost because Kenyans want to blame someone. There's this guy, Ahmed Nasir. Ahmed Nasir has been saying that I think 4 Supreme Court judges were paid like, was it $1 million? $2 million each.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
$2 million each to deliver the presidency to who? To Raila. Did they deliver?
They didn't.
So if you give me $1 million,
that means they could at both sides,
and I have one vote. Sindio? Mnipatia $1 million and I have one vote. If I end up keeping quiet and Ruto comes back as president, you can't blame me. I'm one vote.
One vote, yeah.
If I was more than one vote, then unaweza turn useme this guy. But to tell people that you should walk away from $1 million,
but does the who it's coming from also matter?
Yes, it matters. It
principally.
Matters. Yes, it
and
matters.
I know for Mwaf it's not a spiritual thing. He best icon because you're an atheist. But for you it's more of a principle. Yeah, but you get principle and $1 million you get.
Yeah, because this $1 million, as long as inazaenda kwa offshore, because $1 million alafu iko ndani ya Syrian bank, that's not my money. That's not my money.
That's your money.
Yeah, that's yeah. But if it's $1 million, alafu nipande ndege niende Cayman, sindio? Alafu nione Iko, alafu ni move from this small Cayman bank to this other one. Alafu sasa nirudi Kenya sasa.
I can conservatively say right now Ruto has stolen about 4 trillion.
Yeah.
4 trillion, you guys, enough to go around, bro.
Yeah. It's enough.
That's
it's enough.
More than enough. Imagine asking a guy who has 4 trillion to break you off some just to cheza chini.
Yeah. Anakuachia
that hash man, because I've seen of course another news yenye imekuwa ikihit headlines kwa Mrima ni kuna kwa there are some section of Kenyan Mount Kenyan musicians Wakikuyu, so they'd gone to greet Sudi, sorry. Then they went to DP. They first went to Kindiki. Samido akachorea.
But why they? I saw it was like 100 Jesus.
No, bullshit money.
And then, but unapata, maybe the guys organizing that, ndio nakula the big chunk. And these are not musicians that have been active maybe for the last 5 years. When you ameenda kwa Sudi and now State House. So, unajua ni pesa yetu inafanya rediscover your former talent. The singing to his tune. So, yeah, now you can't blame them.
But how impactful are those guys?
They're not.
That you need them on your side, the musicians?
No. I will go back to the advisors, Waruto, because I don't feel Ruto is someone you advise. Because these are washed up artists. Nile tu ngoma zao zinaweza chezwa tu zilizopendwa like nile like ukienda place uambiwe niaje we yule tuimbie kale kawimbo but those type of, but kuna wenye they're trying to make the master happy, so they wataenda mwambie these are the most popular Kikuyu musicians we have wasiku hizi, and he goes with it so long as Ruto now he's in panic mode.
But principally, what happens to? Because I agree with you in terms of it's hard to in this day and age when you think about your kids or your future. You get $1 million, you can't just say no. It's almost unwise. But now, principally, what happens to your brand?
I think that's why like the price has to be worth the risk.
Are you willing to close Iko Nini?
I don't know. You know, kitu moja, because you know,
the documentary. That's the documentary.
It's something that I really enjoy doing. Unajua, just sharing my thoughts and what. And I always muishige nisiwahi kuwa kwa hiyo position whereby I have to choose instant wealth to gradual wealth. You see, and therefore this gradual wealth, if it's coming under a Ruto presidency, it's under threat all the time. Because you remember, like last week, they were talking about social media, controlling social media. Then apart from that,
you feel like that's something that can be actualized in our ecosystem.
But let me finish this like train of thought. So, number one, under threat from Ruto. Number two, it's YouTube. It's a platform that one little thing, you're thrown out. So you understand, it's not, it's like we're still employed. Yeah? I remember there's like a Iko Nini fan who once said that, and I wanted to take it badly afu nikaona. Because kuna time kwa sema like, unajua watu wako self-employed kasi sisi. Well, damn, took her time. Went like, you're not self-employed. You're employed by YouTube. You work for YouTube. So I take it.
I agree. The people who control the world, this cabal, or rather the powers that we have managed to control the flow of information, even so much so that even what we think is free flowing, it has boundaries, man.
Yes.
You know the guys you can't talk about, you've talked about them severally. Like
the mustache guys.
Those guys.
Yes.
Even those things you put in your body to prevent getting sick. You do those things, you talk about that stuff, you get flagged.
Wakulima wakubwa.
Man.
So kulikuwa na hiyo, like when you're asking if it can happen, just this, was it on Tuesday? So on Tuesday there was the story that the government had approved 150 million shillings for a software called Optimus 3.0.
I was listening to that today, yes.
So the Optimus 3.0 is supposed to like be able to
zero in on
social media users.
Yes.
So if they're doing that, they want to control social media. So I think the only thing that they are afraid of is, I don't know who we are talking to, but I remember we were talking to someone. No, it was me. I won't say who, but it was someone who still works for the government. And I remember that person telling me something close to, yes, in theory, it would be really great to control social media, but in practice, they feel like that would now just make the whole country burn. Because,
guys,
that people are so obsessed, people are addicted to their phones. Like, a lot of us, tukiamka asubuhi, the first things ufanya ni?
In fact,
social media.
Addicted, I like that. Addicted is the word, because I've always said, of course, we kind of call ourselves, Viva will go to the streets. But that final rallying call, you guys take away my native banner. I can't just go on internet. You guys, me, I'm a guy of internet. All my in-between time.
Yes.
I'm on YouTube listening to a podcast, Spotify. You take that away, guy can flip banner like that. That's enough reason now for me to get out to the streets. But let me ask you, and let's talk specifically about people who have been rumored to have taken said money.
Yes.
And like Ian, I said, it's money that is extremely ridiculous. A guy like KRG, Kwani, how much was he given that he disappeared? Kwani, how much was that? KRG, if you remember, could trend almost Eric Omondi style at will. Eric can decide today I'm going to trend, and he'll trend. KRG was a newer version of that. So whether you liked him, hated him, or were indifferent to him, you were seeing him on your feed somehow. So how much was this guy given for him to just...
But I think KRG...
They blackmailed him.
I think KRG, even apart from the music, I think he is a controversial businessman.
Yeah. So I think him was just threatened.
Yeah.
Like we'll come to hii pesa ilitoka.
Tutafunga mfereji. You see?
Yeah.
Because I don't think... I think making money of the industry, you have to... It's a more than 24-hour job. Nakumbuka kuna dem fulani kona watch when she took over management ya Chris Brown, when Chris Brown was just starting out. Na alikuwa nasema how she was just a manager. Now there was one rule, like you always sleep with your phone under the pillow. Now ukipick phone, even if it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you have to sound like you've been awake, like it's 8 o'clock. Uko juu at different time zones, and that's maju. For now, Kenya, you have to put in work like BN. Check, not just vipindi hapa. You have to be in the studio, marketing yourself and stuff like that. No disrespect to KRG, but he had like 4 hits.
But I'm not.
But
even after that, yes, for now. But sasa alikuwa naulizwa. pesa zako utoa wapi? Mimi I'm a entrepreneur. So now if you're an entrepreneur with the government, you can go on
shit.
But I think you're fairer. You're fairer than me in terms of KRG. I think his music was terrible. Mamba imechamaka.
No, just say the end for it.
But to be honest, that Mamba imechamaka was a hit.
Yeah.
It was a hit still.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, but also, like you brought up something about putting in work. You know, I was so inspired when I saw. I think I even texted you when I saw Bien on Breakfast Club.
Yes,
I think he broke the ceiling, man. And of course, we had seen King Kaka had been there before with Tracy Morgan, but in a very different way. Bien was there as Bien, you know, he was there as Bien, the artist, sold out tour. How did you guys feel about that? You didn't feel
no,
I felt so encouraged.
Proud.
I think nani alikuwa na Ibro, because Ibro anakuwaga more hip hop oriented. That's where Nani was. What's his name?
Oh, it was Hot 97.
Yes. Yeah. Alikuwa Ibro, I don't know anakuwaga wapi.
Hot 97.
Ni Hot 97, yes. So akina Nani alikuwa Breakfast Club, I Heart Radio, and I think that Bien stuff was just, that was
proud,
crazy.
You felt proud.
Yeah, because I didn't expect it. I remember nikiflip, because we watch a lot of Breakfast Club. Yeah, I love those like two dudes. Alafu, of course, now the chicks nowadays have some really good chemistry.
They've managed, eh?
Yeah,
I
didn't think they were going to figure it out.
All right.
They figured it out.
In the beginning, put
it's crazy.
La Rosa and Just Hilarious on the screen for people to know what we're talking about. These guys, Just Hilarious was, of course, holding down the fort when they were trying to find someone in the interim when Angela Yee left the Breakfast Club. And at some point, she went on maternity leave, and in comes this La Rosa chick from formerly TMZ.
Yeah.
And she starts doing an excellent job. And at some point, the fans fall in love with her. So much so that when Jess comes back, she's almost like the fourth wheel. And of course, you know, insecurities, not to be sexist, but they're chicks. They just can't seem to get along. Yet stylistically, they both have a lot to offer from a very different point of view. One is more of a real journalist. One is just more of an entertainer. But rumor has it that, what's that Latina chick, queen of radio, also in that side?
Oh,
she sat them down. Yes, Angie Martinez sat with them and like, yo, man, we don't have to fight. We can all get along. And it seems like now they found their synergy.
Okay.
But I loved the original 3 was also good.
He used to be good. Because prior to and even like the way that girl has been covering the Diddy trial has been really interesting.
Proper.
Yeah, but Diddy was a nasty motherfucker, man. That's a nasty a-hole. Like,
but did you see the audio? The audio to Daphne Joy. Daphne Joy is 50 Cent's baby mama.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, man, there's nothing like going cold on me, Bana T. It's silent treatment. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I'll just close the taps, man. I'll just stop paying your rent. He's like, this is work. He actually said, this is work. Now that's what I'm not paraphrasing.
He used to pay like
10
G's a month rent. Even in the US, that's some nice apartment in quotes. That's some high rise huko juu.
Do you think that justifies 50 cents? I think now people are getting a deeper understanding of the hatred for Diddy, because at some point it looked like, hey, what do you say could do nini? You're kicking him when he's down. But you guys was abusing your baby mama, man.
But I think him hata kakwa anajua the abuse alikuwa namchukia tu. You don't want some other dude to be screwing your baby mama hata kama mshaachana, especially someone in the same industry. Alafu apart from this guy screwing your baby mama, he also wants to screw you.
Who's baby mama?
He wanted to
Chwani.
Me Daphne Joy.
You see the son he really likes, Sire or Sire?
Madhake.
The mom is that Jendo that's been being covered now, and they're not showing her face in the paintings. That's 50 Cent's baby mama. And at some point they were lovebirds.
Yeah, because 50 has been...
And he still used to share. He used to make her get any quiz of freak offs. So Nikoshua 50 saizi, I've not even checked. Is he posting about her? Is he mocking her?
Hey, he did. The past week, he really, because initially the whole Jendo thing was to hide her image. So he posted a split screen of the painting they do in the court, and then he put her real picture, and you could just see this is
50 is an asshole.
Hey, I would not want to go to war with someone like that.
But going back to BN, just nataka kupoteza this train of thought. the same way you watch, other Kenyans excelling in their craft, in their sport, maybe be it, when you're cheering Shujaz, tukiona Faith Kipyegon across that finish line, nakumbuka Olympics to watch. Now this guy, we used to go crazy, and these are strangers to us. Unajua tu, so long as umevaa tu kale ka vest, kamevaa Kenya, you're all rallying behind. It's nasionange msee mwenye anasema niache achana wao, Wakamba pia anaweza kimbia or anything. Inakuanga that undivided support. Pia ukiangalia futa tunaweza jaza hapa na tunajua tunaweza kugongwa, but I don't know, why don't we reciprocate that when it comes to entertainment? Maybe.
Okay.
But what's the question?
For Ben also, just before we answer that, I think, I don't know, we kind of trivialize the fact that Sauti Sol has been 20 years. Sometimes people forget that. It's lost in translation. These guys have been running
the industry
for 20 years. So they've put in 20 years is a lot of time. The other day I met my mentor and I was just getting some counsel on my podcast, the Growth Index. Like, boss, it's been a year. You're doing great. It's been a year. So, like, sometimes we forget, but by year 20, that's now Breakfast Club kind of.
Yes.
When you're breaking your fast.
Yeah, that's when you're breaking your fast for real.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like we don't support
no, for entertainment you just utapata tu those side shows like
I think you're kitambo more than saizi especially the girls support this shit 100%, and because girls are supporting it, that's the reason why Kenyan concerts are always like sold out. Sha notice like they're always, ukiangalia Blankets and Wine, majuzi hata nicheki kuna mtu alikuwa anateta juu ya show ya anaitwa Costa. I think Costa Joang I think was charging like 15k for VIP, and because Costa knows his worth. Najua imefika hiyo level, like even I think I was checking kwa channel ya Costa, one of the most viewed videos ni akiwa live on stage, because Costa Joang on stage, and akina Costa, these are people who sing love songs, and when the girls love it, the men love it. I think this is something that akina Tupac hakuisema in those words, but Tupac was like, make music for bitches, the niggas will come. Check it. So it's the same thing. I think right now, we are supporting. Do we still have some characters kama kina Sabato talking shit? Yes, we have them. But the average Kenyan, we were just wowed by your story ya Bien. Alafu sisahau, on top of that, akatwanga kasongo. Our Kenyans were losing their shit.
And then he did it in a very, very wise way. It wasn't as in, it was more because I'm on a world stage, let people know Agwan. You know? But I also feel, and for me, like, what Sauti Sol have also shown, first of all, today I was corresponding with Polycarp. I was scheduling a shoot. And I mean, the level of professionalism, it's not the way like me I do things. Me I get WhatsApp, putting me this manager, kind of thing. It's new territory for me. I think they've also mastered, I think for the longest time, Kenyans have been doing things Kenyeji kind of. Yeah. And I think they've upped the level in terms of how they even approach their music. A guy who really frustrates me, I love him like a brother because we were in school together, Chris Kaiga. I feel like if Chris Kaiga, man, had the right team, he's doing great. But to me, that great is like 40% of what he's capable of. And for me, it's the team. I think it's a team. Why is there no label clamoring to sensitize and groom and let these guys blossom? Is that infrastructure there?
We know that Eric has a team, Njiru. But if you come to history of team, I think I was even, we were talking with Ian when we were coming like this, and I was telling Ian the way sometimes I forget stuff. Because, the same thing you said, what's up. So I was telling him it's time that we got like a intern, someone who can learn on the job. So you'll get, of course, your transport and kwa ofisi kutakuwa na chai, whatever. But nezataka someone who's close, like maybe a college that's close to Nini. But someone who's ready to work mpaka they get a job. And this actually works because I always give the example ya wife. Wife alianzaga ka intern. And right now she's in the management. and it's because of that drive. If you get the right person who's driven in this era of AI and everything, the sky's the limit.
But finding that person is
you just have to go through, because kuna kitu ilikuwa funny ni someone had called me up and they were telling me their cousin has just left school and their cousin was looking for like an internship. So I remember nikimwambia like okay, internship ya hapa lazima kuja kijua at least editing, najua the basics. You have to learn how at least to edit vitu kama hizo. Alafu what else did I say? And pia it's an internship, so I'm not guaranteeing employment. Najua you won't bully me into employment. You have to do your job, you have to show me some value. And the guy was like, yes, I know, he's ready. Then I told him acha kuja Monday. The guy didn't show up. Acheki, because people want you to guarantee
them. Didn't show up because you're telling me that we're expecting some guys. Actually.
People when you tell people like you'll have to earn that job, watu wanataka kazi za gava, najua you don't earn it, unakuja there because of your name, then you just become mediocre.
But I got some sound advice from your favorite guy, Andrew Kiba. I know you guys are best friends.
They
go way back.
But he gave me some sound advice, and I found it also rang true. I have Fox has, in terms of initiative and work ethic, he's done an amazing job.
Yes.
But now to scale things, I also need to get him some help, you know.
Yes.
And I realize also sometimes as the vision bearer, even as we're a bit cheap. But if you want to penetrate, you must be willing to also scale everything. That's from production, from the professional level of how you're doing things. If you want to now level up, and it's a harsh reality.
Because even I won't lie to you, like nisipoteza a train of thought. Sometimes when I want to consult na Chaksi.
We had dinner the other day.
Chaksi
he's a mastermind for real.
That dude, he's wiser than me. Like I even kuna vitu niambia niko like damn. Alafu one thing that I've learned from Chaksi is I undersell myself. I
agree.
Kuna time nganga na Chaksi ameniambia na mtu like so kitu kayo charge mangapi? Sasa nasema figure nyingine kwa like damn. Mpaka namuuliza hizi vitu zinatoka Nairobi kwa hiyo buda jo nini hakuna. Like damn.
And we're not name dropping here because I had
lazima upatiane flowers. Like
we had dinner with him Juicy and some Kina Saj, and of course you came up and you're saying how the impact you're having, like the impact you're having even by like now doing news, capturing everything, you know. Something up right now, if Andege crashes, you know. I'm telling you, hacked my algorithm. If I watch a video, the next video will be Iko Nini. And then I can't skip because it's talking about something I want to. So don't ever undersell yourself right now.
That's what I'm telling you. Like hiyo ni kitu Chaksi alifanya nika. Na hajui sikumwambia that he made me realize, because I always feel like this is another thing we don't do. We don't give flowers. Najua kuna msata feel ni kama mic check ni compare kwetu. Me I don't see that. I see like if this podcasting thing can grow, like I think there are some people who are telling me they're organizing a podfest. Na kunganikiambia like podfest. Cool. Okay. Sisi Iko Nini tuko ndani. Antambia nini coffee pump na Eotwe wakuje, alafu of course pia nita connect na kina Chaksi, because now with them I had to, nyinyi nilisema tu mtakuja but now nitauliza but that's what we want people to know that there's enough for everyone. Hii competition there's not enough for everyone. It's
and that's
very stupid.
Scarcity
I
mentality.
share that sentiment. I think I've shared that from the word because I'm a student of Joe Rogan and I've seen how he built his empire. It was by not having, we call it scarcity mentality. We can all eat, man. There's 8 billion guys, man. What if I come on, it's always mutually beneficial to share, to cross platform. But also another thing, and I'll give Chax his flowers, he talks about, even in terms of imagining what it can be.
Yes.
Sometimes, we limit ourselves. We get into a comfort zone, like a stride, and you don't want to try and experiment with a new version of content because I've kind of mastered the podcast thing. Yet you have ideas that are living in your head. You're like, no, do it. It can work and become bigger than the podcast, or it can fail, but so what? You have to remove that fear. So that's something I must give him kudos, man.
Chaksi, and of course the whole team, Maria and Amwas. Poleni jo Mr. Kimathi waga huku mbele sana tunamwonaga everywhere like kila majuzi we at Obina's event he was there. But I'd say like I've learned so much from him.
And to be fair, your second best friend said how kina Mwafa and Chaxi are gatekeepers of podcasts.
And
I was like,
I had
that's
that.
the most
or Francois.
Francois Ubese.
You got it.
That was the most. If you had to pick two people who are not gatekeepers, man. In fact, because I used to give him some credibility, I'm like, okay, there's some truth. No, I'm trying to hear because I'm a fellow conspiracy theorist. But then now that one, I was like, you get that.
But not your conspiracies zako zinakuwaga reasonable. The conspiracies of Mwafreeka is working for Ruto, and the same point Boni is working for Ruto, and Hanifa is working for Ruto. Like everyone except me. Mimi tu peke yangu ndio I'm not working for Ruto. Everyone else is working. That's when it becomes unacheki. Uko like, this is too much. If you're the only trustworthy person, then there's a problem. If at least it's like unatrasta watu alafu kuna that one person you don't trust, it makes sense. Kama juzi umechekivila amesema ati Larry was not showing leaking roofs. Larry was working with Murkomen so that there's a deal for Adani, and I'm there like because
you took it too far, homie.
At some point the conspiracy, unajua kuna zile, even when I was talking about that nikisema the moon landing tunaweza argue, unajua we can argue because right now the technology is 50 times what it used to be in 1969. The fact that it's never happened again, lazima tujiulize that maybe, just maybe, unajua. Alafu kulikuwa na hii series, I think there was a series on Apple TV that shows a fake moon landing, but sasa wanaonyeshaga that the real thing happened, but kulikuwa na kitu kama hiyo. So I think that's the problem ile tuko nayo. I think it's not even it's a movie. Fly me to the moon.
Fly me to the moon.
Yes. So that movie Fly Me to the Moon ni nani anaitwa nani udem Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
So iko na hiyo nini. So I think that's the only problem niko nayo. Like for a very long time I used to think he's a reasonable guy because he has ideas till he started saying everyone is a sellout. Like damn, everyone is a sellout except you. Everyone is a sellout. Unajua at some point lazima ujue shida ni wewe, si kila mtu.
Ama ni zile vitu za it feels like maybe he started this online activism way back, and now you find and then you find there are guys who are coming and they're getting more traction. You have Casmel, you have Morara, you have Nani, and now you can't leave the house.
And we had this philosophical, let's bring it back home, because we had this philosophical discussion with John Allen Namojus, and we're discussing about, is it wrong, and I think also Iko Nini, we touched on it a bit, is it wrong to benefit from activism in terms of if I am actually charging for a cause that's creating greater good for a country or a space or whatever it may be, and some foreign entity decides to fund me or perhaps take care of my needs in terms of maybe roof
for your troubles,
a roof, for your troubles, a roof over your head, maybe school fees for your kids.
Yes.
Is that philosophically wrong? And then number two, do I have to die for you to believe that I'm a real activist? Or can't I do it in a measured way to also sustain life? And that's, I think, where guys went off. It's like, let's burn it down now.
He's only a rebuttal. Ama ukimuuliza shida, what do you have against Casmel? They were bought. What do you have about, what's wrong with Hanif? They were bought.
Yes.
What do you have about,
because even with Hanif,
Mwafreeka?
Government being paid.
What do you have? Yes, it's shida ni do. Where am I not getting the money?
Alafu unajua, if you're the only one who can see that this person has been bought, it does not make you some like level of genius or something. But still, we have to give him credit. Nimecheki saizi he's decided to lose weight, but not he design yetu. So he decided intermittent fasting.
Okay.
And he's doing the real ile, like he's doing 36 hours.
Nice.
That's crazy. Unajua 36 hours natufikiria. I was talking to my friend Muki, Muki Garang. I think when Muki Garang is in Nairobi because he's moving back, you need to have a conversation with him. Like, I'm sure itakuwa interesting. So he's telling me about like when you fast for that long, unafikaga ni ketosis.
Yes.
Your level like ketosis. And now if ukifika hapo, at when you're peeing, you pee black.
No, the thing
like unaenda una pee, unaona tu ni ya black. And the funny thing is, the first days you're so, like the first few hours, ile umeanza kufast, uko, like you don't have any energy. By the time you're doing like your second 36 fast, unaendaga kwa gym, you do everything. Like your body stores all this energy and it's ready to use it. It's just that food is readily available. So
this one
always eating.
Because there are some cells that start regenerating.
Yes. This one will get us
kama it's rebooting.
It'll get us flagged because trust me, I've done IF.
Yes.
If you want to drop weight, let's say you have a boxing match. Sport Pesa have decided Mwaf, Ian, 100 million a piece. And you need
punch above our weight.
you need to drop weight.
Yes.
Bro, IF, in 6 weeks, I dropped like almost 15 kilos. In 6 weeks. IF. And then, although I'd combine it with keto. Fasting has been proven to even all the cancerous, all the bad cells get away. So if you can fast even for, I saw a guy who did a water fast. Was it 21 days? And bro, he was healthier after when they checked his parameters after all those toxins.
Kusemekuwa nikifikiria like for example for my back pain, I've tried everything. I've tried massages, I've tried physiotherapy, unakumbuka? I've tried walking, I've tried the gym. Like kuna majuzi
Ukambani.
Yes, majuzi nilikuwa nimeenda gym. Yeah, kuna best yetu alitupeleka to like some local woman. We even posted it on Iko Nini.
Wait, like chakra manenos?
Alikuwa anafaa kufanyia massage. But I won't knock her hustle.
Yale ni chuna tumbo.
Yeah, but huyu alikuwa nalia mechunwa. But sasa knock hustle yake. Mi sasa nilikam nikafikiria shida ni mimi. And I think the only thing that's left ni hiyo intermittent fasting, where like the easiest way to get rid of inflammation, because at inflammation it feeds on sugar, sindio?
Yes.
It feeds on sugar. So that's one of the things I'm planning to do.
And it's so funny, the sugar thing has only become mainstream in the last like 2 years. The fact that inflammation and sugar there's a direct, even things like gout are being now tied to, it was always meat and booze, but now it's being tied to sugar. But let me ask you a question I asked John Juicy. And today is what? Today is 11th, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that we are 14 days from the Gen Z.
2 weeks.
From a public holiday.
A fortnight.
But why? And I've seen you guys making some very gallant efforts to keep that thing going. But can you feel like there's a lull? That energy is not there. And I feel like the energy was there 2 months ago. What has changed? And especially now when we have a guy who was killed in police custody, why is the outrage not... I feel like it's not the level it should be.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I think it is. Like, I think for you to see, like the Kenya Senate, may summon the CS for Interior and the 2 police bosses in less than 24 hours, and they had to show up. And when they showed up, they even apologized. The outrage is there. It's just that last year walitukubalia tuende kwa streets. This year hajakubali. So we are back to being digital wankers. But it's actually there. That's why even the president released a statement. Because all these things, what they do is they remind us that this is a very bad regime. So I think the outrage is there. And funnily enough, I think even for June 25th, I think a lot of people are going to stay away. Because it's also a protest. I think to make them believe that protest has to be confrontational with the police, while sometimes it's just keep those streets clean. Let it look like the day after the elections, when everyone is in the house nervous. They don't know what's going to happen. But where few people go to work, others don't.
But what in this case, what does staying away do for the cause, especially in terms of, because the confrontational thing is, I'll compare to like to kushikana mashati. You can feel the impact. There's an obvious who's winning, who's losing, versus silent treatment. So what...
Try to imagine you're the president of a country. On June 25th last year, a lot of citizens were killed. And you want everyone to forget that day. Then, all of a sudden, classrooms are half full. Some shops are closed. And, the economy, the country loses money through that. You'll be there like, hey, damn, what is happening? Because you expect people to just wake up and like we don't feel like the outrage is So you expect people to wake up and treat June 25th as any other day. If people are to treat it like a holiday and just stay away, watu wanaweza funga shop wafunge shop, alafu watu wanaweza kaa home. The news zitaenda zikionyesha wase like, classrooms were half empty. Then so itakuwa, why were classrooms half empty? Because people are protesting. But now, because of that, half term inaweza kuwa 25th.
They're smart, eh? But then now also
ushajiuliza half time iko in
now where the government propagandists comes in, eh? But because for me nilikuwa naona you don't lose your nini. It's not like guys wamesaa about 25th or anything, that's
bruh connect.
No, I think they're storing it for later. We are regrouping. When we are regrouping, me I'm identifying as a Gen Z because me now a Gen Z is anybody who's opposing.
So mentality is a mindset.
Yes, a mentality. Now you may surpass
Gen Zote.
Yes, it's Gen Zote. Because my dad is a Gen Z. Anybody who's anti-Ruto, who's anti-regime. So we are keeping receipts for 2027. We've regrouped. People have started showing more interest in, grassroots politics. What is happening in my ward? What is happening in my constituency? Nashina nikiambia Mwaf, what the protest did, people went back. Wakaanza kuangalia, what's wrong? Kwa nini maendeleo itufiki? Guys are on plumbing mode. Like, when unblock hizo mfereji.
When did it shift from, and I get yes, to 2027, when did the agenda shift from by all means necessary radical change now to let's go and vote?
They responded with violence.
Kuna a certain level of violence. I always say one of the things that I admire, I admire about the animal kingdom is we learn a lot. Self-preservation. There's a reason why a lion will be coming at you. Sindio? And then you have something super loud. Pop! Alafu you'll see itakuwa startled. Hata niza kimbia. And hiyo kitu umedu ingekuji there's nothing that thing would have done to the lion. Self-preservation. It's so easy to say, I'm ready to die. I'll die for this. But we're all trying to live. We all want a better country. If it was possible to get rid of this guy through protests, like they do it in developed world, we'd have done it.
That's Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka is
yes.
Super...
Hata tukiangalia Korea, like South Korea was non-violent. You see, the guy had to go resign. I think hata he's being prosecuted, if I'm not wrong. But Africa, na kina Sri Lanka, and kina, was it Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hizo, they react with violence. I always say Bangladesh, the advantage wako nazo na kina Tunisia, it's that aspect of religion where they believe there is another place. Christians are always 50-50 about like, these things.
Yeah, man, get shot and go to nothingness.
Yeah, no one is ready to be a martyr. You understand? Yeah. So how since wako na hiyo, they take it to the next level. But mina semaga, let him take his 5 years and go. 5 years looks like a long time, but it's not that long.
I'm not pro-government by any means, but I'm a very objective person. I shared with this also with you. I met someone I look up to, and he's an MP, and he told me, guys don't know it's not going to be that easy. And he used an analogy of, it's like an athlete on sports day, you're the fastest. So you still have butterflies. That's all it is for these guys in terms of the idea of one term. Like, eh. But they're not scared. They have already put their plans in play for however they're gonna win the election. So
I think Nini, hii reasoning going to work for a very long time, but I've never seen the youth this involved in politics. Najua, it's always been that thing of umechiketa iskit. Kuna iskit ya someone, a guy grabs a phone from a chick, starts running, and then the chick is like, ukienda na hiyo simu nitapigia Ruto kura. Half the guy has to come back and just give her the phone. And we've never had this level of civic education. So I think this is the first time that, yes, that old school politics of tribe being everything. Like right now, kitambo inakuwaga like every Luo is with Raila. This time it's not.
It's not,
Yeah. Inakuwaga the only people wale neza sema mko side moja bado ni watu wa Mlima. Yo mmejam. Lakini sasa ni coincidence.
Cousins.
Ni coincidence because pia on the other side watu wamejam na gava. So it just happens that now the whole community is also mad at the government. But I'm seeing a situation whereby even like for Nairobi politics right now, if you give a lot of Nairobians a good choice versus a bad choice from their tribe, they choose the good choice. And that has not happened in a very long time.
And you don't think that machination that comes with being with a mainstream party still plays
hiyo ndo kitu moja na hope thats na hope itaisha. I think hata nimekuwa nikipreach kwa like when I'm ranting hapo we rant that we need to start thinking of voting independent because we have to look at these parties and be like these parties are tribal, yes, but they do not help us. They help the individuals at the top. So we need to start thinking of another way of reasoning. What's another way of looking at this political thing? So mtu nimekuwa nikiquote lately imekuwa Nelson Harvey when he said you can't say that Maraga is a weak candidate because it's me and you who making a weak candidate. If you're going to vote on that day and you decide you're voting for Maraga, sindio? I decide I'm voting for him. Ian decides to vote for him. What was the probability of getting 3 votes za Peter Kenneth in one room? Siku za Kenneth. It was very low.
It was
yeah. But saizi tunaangalia kina Maraga tuko like, you know what, maybe there's another form of politics
does
not involve violence, does not involve corruption. Yeah.
Plus the whole economic protest that happened last year was unprecedented.
Yeah.
And with this era of technology, you don't need a Tononoka, you don't need a Kamkunji, you don't need a Fra Stadium. Yeah, Nyanza, where do you assemble?
You need a TikTok, just like a TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
don't need
Raila Odinga Stadium.
Yeah. We don't need some stadium pale in Meru. Go and brainwash people. Right now, guys are, gathering in places that you do not know, in rooms that you have no idea. And a WhatsApp group can just form up and the whole, plan yako yote inasambaratika.
Yeah.
Unacheki. So
what about rigging? What about rigging?
No. We'll come to that.
Rigging.
You can only rig when it's too close.
I feel like we're telling ourselves that.
And
ni ukweli. Numbers don't lie. Like Raila, to me, mwangaliaga Raila and Ian usiwi ninejo. Yeah. Mwangalia Raila na someone who did not want to be president. Me time nataka kitu, I'm usually obsessed. And I'm obsessed with the little details. And the little details would have shown me that, you know what, Wajaka hawaendi kukuja enough. The little details would have shown me that, you know what, I cannot afford to lose Waki, Shiba hawasumbui. Those two. Because those are the people that cost him his presidency. You see? And there was a way to bring them. If Ruto could buy them, he could have bought them back. So, with that in mind, inanionyesha that if the gap is big, if the gap is small, all Nadigi, mostly he had 2 regions. He had Central and Rift Valley. Like the past 2 presidents, 3 elections have been determined by Central and Rift Valley. So it was very easy to manipulate the numbers because you can manipulate numbers even in metropolitan places like Nakuru. So ndio, unaweza manipulate numbers Nyahururu akina Laikipia. Unaweza manipulate numbers now akina LD. Manipulate numbers Nyeri. This time Nyeri, Nyahururu, Nakuru, all those you can't manipulate. Sindio? You're left with Central. With Rift Valley peke yake. Ujakani pia hauwezi manipulate because not all laws have jumped onto your bandwagon. And now the cities akina Mombasa, you can never manipulate numbers there. So now you'll have to make sure that there are enough Kalenjins in hapa wale who believe in nothing but tribe. And pia don't forget, a lot of Kales have helped him. This is the first election that people are going to look beyond tribe.
Yeah.
Mbeleni inakuwaga tu ni tribe peke yake. Yeah. This time we are going to look. Hata itu to be for someone on online sijua jaka au kikuyu. Those ones are temporary. Hizo ni zile tu short-lived, tumekasirikiana, and then we go back to default settings and default. So now his only hope ni Northeastern.
And what if someone tries to take it outright, irrespective of everything you said? What if outright announce me, man? Is that like now the flashpoint?
I think that's the flashpoint.
So you don't think it'll just go to default petition?
I think that's the flashpoint. I think this time watu wamekasirika design ingine. Unajua mbeleni nakuwaga ni Raila supporters wamekasirika. This time it's all Kenyans everywhere. Yeah. Like you talk to people, random person tu, kwambia tu Kasongo aende, Kaongo aende, watu aende. I think who was this? Kuna nani alikuwa ameandika? Was it in the comments ama zizizi? Ilikuwa ule boy karibu achapwe jana kwa protest. This guy who people thought he was a policeman because he's Kale. He has that Kale look, and he was saying that he understands why people are so angry because Ruto has tainted the Kale name acheki and that's why unachiki watu kwa like president atoke place yote but si Kalenjin land so kuna hizo but does that mean that they are not good Kalenjin people who believe in it? Well, of course wako but for a very long time we've left politics to thugs, we've left politics to criminals, some people with rape cases, corruption cases, murder cases. It's high time tuanze kufikiria vile tuzapatia watu wana like they have an idea on what
do you guys go ahead.
No, I'm just saying before nipoteze nini you know we have also a generation that doesn't give a fuck man allegedly allegedly like the guy we are mourning check that's someone mwenye I'm sure whatever went down allegedly kwa that cell he maybe refused to do something
or he went down
regardless of him being dragged all the way from you know through the country not the biggest you know security forces that we have on the land and Nabado is that you know have sound I could feel intimidated like this is my ground, this is what I'm standing for and I'm not going to apologize to anybody. I am standing with what I say.
How many such guys are there?
Ni wengi.
Okay.
Sai ni wengi because kitambo unajua sisi ndio tumetoka kwa era ya Mhesh but you know it's only because like the impunity was not televised because nasema sai the revolution is being televised tukiona kiatu ya nani
red bottoms Mwafas mulika guys there red bottoms
red bottoms hizi shati zingine zita Stefano Ricci ni kitambo we didn't have reference
ulicheki majuzi
kuna tu shati ya Mhesh
the Mongolian prime minister had to resign because the kid was so watu understanding why Musa maga hizo vitu like you can't show us you're living this very soft life while a lot of us are living so shida at least the advantage they have with Africans is we allow that to happen ajele tunakuaga like unajua Ruto kuvaa shati ya $1,500
look at the guy Equatorial
unajua uva every time like Ruto squeeze kwanza ni notice hizo shati zake ni Stefano Ricci because the funny thing about Ruto ni kitu yote anavaa akina Murkomen akina nini wanavaa
they copy and this goes way back to ile brown jacket all the way back
so by the time now they come pale mashinani we already profiled them we have a profile like this is someone who has put his own interest mbele ya watu wake so when you're coming back to us and that's why nikisema kume bila break mnasema nini one time you know there's already defiance na hiyo ni kitu back to where your question was 2020 no the 25th June didn't die we absorbed it
plus his loyalists have chopped
of course no there's just a few sasa now that is what you're going to that kind of attitude it's a different type of attitude because also watu wengi watavote najua ni the youth they'll be like this 60%
but
now who are the youth of today
apart from voting him out who are we voting in but before we explore that I think his loyalists also charming so senator I'm a senator in my country and you're making me line up and I'm senator
no that's just
I'm a VIP in my country alafu you're saying you're a VIP in your country no kaile like when I had that American trip I came back and said those airports made me see that America is what it thinks it is unajua like your airport the only airport may feel imeichapa so far ni ile ya Qatar but even when I look at ile Dubai because everyone had told me ukienda Dubai to me so sema Dubai inachapa kama yo like akina DFW whatever haizi ile hat I think ni Hatfield ya ATL like that those airports are beautiful so you can't go there umetoka JKIA inakaakaa vile Musa magangodha imetoboka if you're going to a real airport and you're there saying that should humble you like the good thing would be let me shut the fuck up let me go hapa pole nipite nilikwambia vile nilipitaga huko like hiyo ATL now seeing the no guns allowed in 3D and I remember saying that damn I saw something in 3D I didn't think that we can manipulate light to create 3D like gun imetokea afu ina go around no guns allowed falafulani ko like unaongea nini hizi vitu nishaona kwa stage ya ma3 mpaka I believed for a second I was like damn stage za ma3 ziko na signs za 3D kumbe 3D kwa mseni chikivile every other time with Eric that person is 3D.
And you know this, how if you want to know, sometimes you also forget that these things are possible. I think we've been desensitized so much. Today I was flying with a captain. He's I think 2-3 years my senior, and he was telling, we're talking about airports, fun enough, and Qatar came up, and he's like, Eric, when I was about like 7 years old, I went to Qatar. And he's like, Qatar, the time the airport was the size of like, what did he reference? I think LD. So
like a landing
he's
strip.
37. He's not that he's 57 or 90 or 85.
Yeah.
So that's within 30 years. Qatar is Qatar now. So I also feel like let's never lose sight on what we can, what we're losing by having poor leadership. But what you've described specifically speaks more to ensuring one guy goes. But who comes in?
Hii historia who comes in, nimekuwa nikisema one thing, I would not want a very aggressive guy. Nachikivile ka saizi what we have with Ruto, and the same thing I feel like we'd have with Matiang'i. The sort of person who believes I'm always right and I have to
power trip.
So nikuwa na feel like even kuwasewingi criticize kabisa. I always give the example of Kalonzo because I'm working with probabilities, like who can appeal to Kalonzo. Anaweza baki get some Raila supporters because they're like, this guy is stuck by Raila all this time. Tayari yuko na kina Wamunyoro, you see. So would he bring the radical change we want? No. But making a Ruto like a one-term president would be a statement. But if it was up to me, it would either be Okia or Maraga, because that would take us from heavy to a very sharp left.
Radical.
A very najua. So that one would be like everyone who's corrupt would be worried, because the best thing about African presidents is they actually have power. So if you enter there and you decide I'm fighting corruption, alafu saizi unajua, it's so, the one thing I love about kile Ruto amefanya ni he's made it so hard for another president to come in anze kuprosecute watu juu ya corruption, alafu mtu aseme tribe ni unatagetiwa. Najua he's made us realize it's more than tribe. So because of that, Maraga or Ukia Umtata would be the best. But do I have enough faith in Kenyans for them to know that hatuwezi sikiza baba? Some of these consequences baba won't live long enough to see them. It's not ati mtu namwish death ama nini. It's just the way nature works.
It's a reality.
Natiki. So if you're looking at a 20-year consequences za 20 year, itakuwa ni natural causes. Hizi nitakuwa ni of course accident, murder, what. But yake itakuwa ni natural, like just nature. Like, you know what, you've had your time, umeenjoy, weenda. So with that, hatufai kwa tuna yes, the final hatufai kwa tuna mfuata blindly, but people just follow him blindly. So with that sort of mentality, that's why nafikiria maybe just one of these guys. But if it was up to me, it would not be Matiang'i, and it would not be Matiang'i because I think he'd continue with abductions and all that crap, violence.
Well put. Now, switching gears, I want us to jet set all the way now to, because I want us to explore some of Musk's prophecies.
Yes.
Of course, I'm a Donald Trump guy. Let's go to the States.
Yeah.
Last week, first of all, I don't know, I think sometimes I'm too passionate about news. That she kept me up. I was so excited when I saw the fallout and how it was playing out.
Yes.
And I think it's two titles, most powerful, richest. It's like, this is a movie. It's happening in my lifetime, bro. These are things that...
It's like Ford versus Ferrari.
Literally. It's like, yani, for sure, by the time I'm in my 60s, there'll be a movie about this, So this guy goes and drops, of course, there's the big, beautiful bill Trump signs.
Yeah.
Elon Musk is not happy. There's something that bill around EVs that Musk wanted to favor him that didn't, and they fall out, and the cracks had started to show. So by the time Musk left, of course, they had a nice ceremony. He tweeted, jolly well, it was real working with you. And then all of a sudden, Musk just does his thing.
Mask off.
Mask off. Matter of fact, this nigga, Epstein files. Now, me, I've been following the Epstein files from way back.
Kash Patel.
We've been waiting. Everyone wants to know Wagwan because everyone knows. Let me just sensitize, guys. The narrative about Epstein files is there exists a trove of videos of very high-profile people engaging in pedophilia, and that was used by Epstein for the longest time to blackmail very high-ranking people across the political divide. Not left or right, just powerful people. And so much so that you have guys signing off to him power of attorney, and when they're being asked, how do you sign off power of attorney? He's my friend, He had blackmailed people on that level. A rumor has it he was Mossad.
Epstein.
Rumor. They've said they've tied him to...
Okay.
This guy was a day scholar in jail. He had a deal for he could go to work from jail. How powerful are you? What do you know?
Pablo Escobar
that you can... And this is happening in America. This is Pablo Escobar was happening in Colombia. This is happening in America.
At that level, you build yourself a jail.
It's crazy. So eventually it comes out, Ghislaine is caught, and she's in some sweetheart, very high-end prison. No one knows who she was trafficking to, which is a big question. You're a trafficker, you've been convicted. But who are you trafficking to? Where is this black book? So anyway, building up to this last election, Trump and them are running, and part of the big story was, we're going to release everything, JFK files, Epstein files. So people, of course, are rallying behind this because everyone wants to know what happened. Clinton are involved, Bill Gates are involved, allegedly all of this. And then Kash Patel runs as FBI boss, he gets appointed, and he had promised, one of the first things I'm going to do is release these files. Then one day, him and... it's called Dan Bongino on TV, and they say for sure Epstein killed himself. Yet the whole narrative was there's no Epstein killed himself. This guy was in a cell under suicide watch. He hung himself. A postmortem was done that showed there's no way that bone could have broken like that if he hung himself. So clearly some powerful people arranged for him to be taken out. So they do this 180, and then now Musk, when they're falling out, comes and drops this bombshell. And Prophet Habakkuk had said the reason these things are not coming out is because Trump is there, and basically Musk confirmed. How did you guys feel about that whole thing, man? Because
I think we need to see to me mihadarati, don't use drugs, because eventually, like by the time we're recording this, it's the day that he's apologized. And I think the way they say that if you're drunk, you speak the truth. Sindio? So the fact that they say that he's been abusing all these drugs, like
ketamine,
ketamine, cocaine, like he's always high.
You've seen him tweaking on camera,
like that day, the last day with Trump.
Tweaking, man.
Yeah.
No, so he was substance kicking in.
And then you're so rich, you don't know you're on camera, bro.
So I think hiyo tu ni mihadarati ilifanya kariaktivo. Plus, losing all that wealth, because he relies on, I was joking that he's a controversial businessman because he relies on government a lot. You know that shit ya Kenya where you rely on tenders, you're a tenderpreneur. So he has a lot of SpaceX, what, subsidies. So this guy who you supported has made you lose like over 100 billion kwa net nini yako utajam. So kama umejam na uko high, you'll talk some shit. And maybe eventually, I think kuna watu walikuwa nasema ati privately kuna watu wata reach out to both of them. So maybe someone reached out.
For sure.
Alafu akamwambia that maybe hautanyang'anywa hizi subsidies. Kuna kitu utaachiwa. So we tulia.
Two things happened here. By the time, like Murphy saying, by the time we're recording this, he's issued a statement saying he went too far, But two things are happening there. Bro, that pressure for Epstein, I think the most powerful people that we do not see made a call somewhere and said, boss, you can't drop such things. Now, if you want us to take everything, we'll take everything. That's number one. Number two, what I feel people are also missing is, yes, sir, you've dropped this on Trump. So you knew. So it's business that has made you now tell us. Meaning he's been your homie, you didn't care, yet you knew this guy was on the Epstein file. You're seeing the conundrum, and most people are not realizing that that's a major flaw in your whole thing. It's like me saying all of a sudden, but then Murphy's a pedophile. But I knew for 3 years. But now because we've cosaned is when I'm dropping the bombshell. So there's a big moral conundrum there that's happening, man. And it also showed me that power is power. Money and power are separate. Power is different from money.
Power is power.
But these are two guys who are they okay psychologically? and then they have power.
Can you be to be in that level? Can you be okay to be Trump?
You would try, but for you to be someone like Trump, for you to be someone like Elon, I think they were ni wale watoto like were you dropped at some point as a child because of the things they say, but then they have the power, that first world power to back it up. Trump has SpaceX, he has what is it called, Tesla.
No, Elon
Musk, yeah.
Yes. So ni kama ni collector. If I don't have this, at some point even Trump alikuwa toyo wake, like even now he was going for America. And now America is going to play to whatever I think it is. He was trying now to mold America to his own image.
Are those guys living?
So now, even his kid dropped, a bombshell.
Who's kid, Trump or Musk?
No, Elon. Pale kwa Oval Office, alisema, what's their plan? We do what we want. And then we just do what we want. But he has even fed, he can be a psychopath to that level. So when you're even discussing two people, those are not regular human beings.
And plus, when you go to their, I've watched some of the interviews of even like the dad, and this is a guy who raised them. It's called Errol Musk, the father. The guy married his wife's. He married his ex-stepdaughter.
Yeah,
He explained 10 marks, and then he's not
nasty shit.
He's not ashamed. He's not ashamed.
Yeah.
He says it almost like, but when I'm no longer with my ex-wife, that's his arguing point. So you can already see there's some cylinders there that are not firing well. But how does this end, man? Do you think we'll ever see those files? Do you think they'll
is the Epstein?
Yeah, of course.
Because
as the America will keep vitu secret, because that are the Trump nearly released the Kennedy files.
yes,
Eventually,
but so much was redacted.
Yes.
But they say, and this is now conspiracies on, they say even the advent of how fast AI and deepfake and all of this was done to create plausible deniability when those tapes eventually leak. So the guys can say it's AI, people can argue. That's why there was such a... It was so accelerated at some point. It was, and if you remember, it was right around the time names started coming out. Bill Gates or Clinton travels 27 times. So the head of Israeli security forces 9 times. And how do you explain going to that island, man? It's a hard sell.
Well, and if natural cause occurs,
Musk.
maybe in the next 20 years. Okay, of course, Musk might be alive or not alive, depending on his consumption. But if they, maybe in 20 years, wote wako, and all the guys in the Epstein files, don't you think that maybe...
kunaweza kuwa na nini, the same thing we were talking about, power.
Yeah.
It's going to take an American president who's just like, fuck it, let me just release this.
Yeah.
I don't care about this ama this. But sasa, shida inakuwaga ni these two Democrats are likable. The Bill Clintons and the what. They might have their pervert, whatever, but they're likable. Trump akuwagi likable. So I think especially kwa ama politicians, which even like what Nani used to say about him, Vance, before he became his deputy. So yeah, but I don't know. But if I was betting, me saizi lakana bet, I'd still say Musk ataenda kabla Trump, unless he gets rid of control of his ketamine thing. Drugs don't care how much money you have.
But also the danger. Don't you guys think there's also a danger in imagine if today a trove of videos came out of all the people we know in leadership having sex with pedophiles.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You don't think that changes? That can shock the world in a way that we're not ready for?
Yes, I know.
Imagine Obama, you're seeing what do you call him, Trump, across the divide. Different countries, Macron, previous scholar was Scarcity. You don't think that would shock the world in a way
that would shock the world?
Then you see a few African. I'm sure. It would not be far-fetched to imagine that some of the high-ups, even in African society, were victims of the same.
Nasema if Diddy had Diamond and African Giant, Epstein had Akina someone.
Do you think he did actually shag these guys though?
For nani for
not really, but if you're to
for
ask
nani
me,
Diamond now
P Diddy.
if you're to ask
I'm
me,
worried when it comes to nani msanii wetu wa bongo. So,
me I think he leaked Diamond's nuts.
for the sound that went
What are
down.
they called? The G's. Because that's what he used to go for.
Yeah.
Like that's what he used to do. Like
Jesus.
Don't
He'd
call
call
you
you.
fanya ka freak off.
because what he wanted was unakuja unapepetana ukishapepetana you take out your nini you mwagia the girl
Yeah.
then after you mwagia the girl him now he goes
The other room.
and licks it.
Take that.
So now he'd be like he wants some of that pure African protein man. It's there.
Burna Boy.
So even at Burna
Yeah.
Boy
I've
I
seen
think
Burna
with
Boy.
them I think with Africans he was like these ones because of money and power if I tell them I just want to watch and then badai I'll eat their nuts they won't go nuts about it. But because it's I don't understand like that's that dude
There's footage of Burna Boy that exists of him looking very zest
feminine
on stage. I'm like, what's that about? And I've always found his relationship with his mother peculiar. How they relate. It's one thing.
kuna hiyo yake ile akitembea hivi alafu kuna ile Diamond akitembea ni kama matako imeumia.
Yeah.
So I don't know I actually don't know but Diddy just loved
Mina Diamond is how he responded to that,
aliyofanyika kwa Diddy.
Yeah, cause
What did he say?
He didn't expect that nini. Ni kama ile phone call ya Diddy. Yenye alikuwa na aliulizwa he was played a clip, an audio clip kwa interview yake. And I like it when nini and
Scrambling and scraping for shit.
Yeah. So unajua ni kitu alisema but now vile ilitolewa kwa like oh shit.
Yeah.
Diamond wasn't ready for that.
Even
question.
Kina Nori. You saw Kina Nori on Drink Champs when Diddy just pops up high as fuck. And you can tell he's popped a Molly. He's there because Molly you clench your jaw. I've had from friends. You're clenching your jaw and he tells them, he's asking Fabulous, why won't you party with me, man? And then he tells Nori, I like it when you're scrambling and scraping. And then Nori's there trying to kanyagia like shit, man. So there must be a lot of weird shit that happens in some of those entertainment
Because going back to Diamond, he was like, mambo yalifanyika pale.
Hiyo fanyika kwa Diddy si mambo ya kupost.
Sio mambo ya kupost. He was taken back, man. Maybe.
Si mambo ya kupost. Unajua ukipost we won't look at nasema nawe the same again. I love that song.
Itakuwa tusemezane.
Yeah. Itakuwa no. So
as we configure for the landing, I want to ask you guys what are some of the things you want to explore content-wise? Because I mean the format of podcast you've mastered, that's something I can go.
Yeah.
And the beauty about this thing we're doing, provided your brain works, even in your 90s you have an opinion, man.
Sure.
That's what I love. But also, what are some of the things you'd like to explore? Would you guys be game for like a reality show?
Kitu funny, like when you say that, it's yesterday I was watching somehow I just found myself I always watch the Breakfast Club huku juu. I never go deep. So there's this short series that they do where they do this to random interviews. Have you watched it? So they'll have the camera in front of like Charlamagne the God, and then Charlamagne will be there like, yeah, so we are here, and we are here because, as you can see, as I was chilling, then someone called me and told me that Jess was going off on Instagram, so I had to check. And Jess needs to know that we've been here for 14 years. She's been here for what? 1 year? So it's like a reality show. Like come at the office. And I was thinking about it because I was thinking of like eventually when we get that intern, yes? And that person, if they're ready
put a rallying call, man.
Yeah. Like we're looking for an intern. That's someone who can edit. Apart from edit, someone who's a little bit creative. But someone who can be recording the behind the scenes zetu before we start. Like even the amount of times that Rapture goes for tea inakuwa very interesting. And this
amount
dude
of time it goes for
never kitu moja wakafani na yeye, he never finishes his cup of tea. Inakuwa like zinabaki kitu zikiwa full. So he atago hapo nini. So those behind the scenes, then kuna kuangana the before we start he'll be the dude chilling hapo kwa kona alafu nasikia just singing some random bullshit. So it's always funny. I always feel like it's good content.
That would be amazing. Like if you have typical reality setting. Of course, there's the B-roll, what's happening, and then now the short interview. Maybe talk about today Ian came in sick. Guys would watch. Guys would actually watch. I'm looking
because I'm here on meds, man, but good meds.
I'm looking to explore.
Yeah,
I wanna venture into doing like a news segment, but news, of course, on a lighter note. Not news for today, making like very calm, very that's my style.
Yeah.
Kenya and beyond, whatever is happening in the world, just to paint a picture for guys. Like I want to explore that. But I was researching on things like I'd actually need a teleprompter because you cannot wing it for 1 hour.
Yeah, you can't.
Unless you're Bill Burr. Bill Burr has a gift. You can run for 3 hours.
So maybe when you remind something else. This is something else I've also been thinking about. Was taking people to places that we as Iko Nini have spoken about. So for example, nikiambia watu, remember majuzi tukiwa na wewe, when I was telling people the way I used to drive, niko na drive natoka Ngara naingia hivi napitia majengo pale katikati, going to see some girl in if I could just do a pod nikionyesha watu like hapa sasa hivi ndio route, have to pitia hapo through majengo, like just film. Of course kwa majengo you filming from inside because there's a film outside, alafu tuende tufike hivyo. Then like the story of the thong where I tell Sony Peleke. Yes, tuanze like from Ngara, that drive ya Ngara hivi. So it won't be very long videos, they won't be 1 hour, but it's just going to show you the video of the catches. Remember ile that girl alifanya nikahepeshwa. So take people to your place, the way I had to reverse. Museum Hill. Kusinizajifanyisha tu tumepotea. So tuingie tu na hiyo njia. So the best thing what I'd do is if I'm doing that, I'd want to do kama hiyo place ya nini, I'd want to do it in a like kibenz fulani. Maybe so gari ile tuafanya oops tumepotea, but kwa watu wa podcast wanajua tukupotea. So naonyesha wase hapa ndio nilikuja. I was dropping the girl here, this is where the mtu wa mirabamini alikuja. So there'd be that, kuweza kuwa na ile time vile hiyo story ya thong pia unajua nilihepa because nilikuwa na thong nikahepa nikaingia Alliance. Hoja nilivulia thong Alliance. Nikaitro kwa dustbin. Shit, unacheza nini? So I feel like that would be so powerful. Hiyo kuonyesha say because people need to know these stories are real. Unajua kuna susikiaga wako like Mwafi ni stories za jaba. Hizi stories za jaba. Hata ile kuna story mpatiana tukiwa kampo kwa tunatembea and then this one guy who used to go to the gym akagonga tu mjaka fulani. After mjaka tukasema omeraire kidi tulitoka mbio. I want people to visualize that. So that's another thing I've been thinking of, like the Iko Nini, like the place behind the story, that this story was real. This is not
these stories,
this is not some fake story mtu ame come up nayo because you think this happened.
That would be interesting.
Because tukiongea hivyo, because what I've been thinking ni we invite guys and they come over na wanatuambia stories, and then now we give back the stories. But I've also seen the impact zenye inakuanga like watu wamefurahia tumetoka nje, they're always happy hata kama tumeenda tu tao tumefanya nini, like you guys should do this more. So but sana unajua because of conversations you have to invite guys nini. Niko naona like if we explore these places as well take the podcast out na tuipeleke. Of course there are a lot of logistics involved because hata rapture akisema about that area, the petrol station, there's a lot that has happened there. Get STD, amechezwa na dem hapo. That means peace, but
so hizo ndio unafanya ukiwa kwa gari for security reasons.
So there's we've not actually done.
Hapo na chikio pia another thing ni if you are doing unaenda westi for example kupotea, you go in a kabenzo ama akaka. If you're going pale unaenda with some old demio unajaka hapo kadhayo huwezi tokea na kibenz alafu anza kufanya vitu hapo. So but I've always thought about like if someone could see the place that you're talking about. Yes, size may change kabisa because like even stories zangu za Primo or like Olympic Estate na ile stories that like a girl who wrote Mbeoshi Poto to me, like that school looks very different from like when I come back in hizo siku. So but I feel like hizo inaweza kuwa more impactful for people to see this because I always remember one Iko Nini fan sijui if he's a fan anymore because pia kuna time kwa naangalia Iko Nini like shit man, this shit has changed so much but it's not changed it's not changed for Nini, it's changed because one person can have only so many stories. So kuna wase wale to discover huko my episode 8 when I still had never told anyone these stories. So like Alex Red, I remember akisema that your story ya Thong ndio limbambag kusakuwa na believe that some dude Kenyan dude can tell people that he was rocking a thong and nearly got arrested by police. So hizo stories to me they are super powerful because they got us a lot of fans hiyo time. Ilikuwa gazile za like anti yangu fulani alikuwa na shoota hii thing agichiet you sasa thing agichiet. I've thought about getting that uncle of mine because his story I don't know if you ever heard that story I was giving where my aunt was being screwed by like they were having sex na uncle yangu afu akashuta alafu now my uncle because they are not siwa romantic kama sisi just sisi unaweza kuwa like baby
let that guy out
so ilikuwa vile ati anti yangu alishuta walisema I think agichiet you're suffocating me with shit so the person who told us the story was my bro my bro who passed away but the person who was there when this was happening is now kama uncle yetu fulani who can tell the story like you see nilikuwa bana like he has that accent ya ujaka so I've thought about such stories and doing a whole series about it and the series now would be mostly for members and vitu kama hizo so that's the next frontier but now pia nimekuwa nikifikiria sana AI to do my shows the shows I've always had ideas of doing like comic kuna moja ukatiaga waifu wangu mtu anawezaiba ukitaka kuiba unawezaiba but I always have this theory of if I drew a superhero my superhero would be called Mshuto Man.
Why?
See when there's trouble anashuta alafu akishuta shida ni nini everyone passes out so now he's able to de-escalate the situation because now pass out Mshuto Man anakuweka in handcuffs alafu unaenda nini so I've thought about that so vile nilikuwa cheki Google video I was like maybe it's time to think about Mshuto Man
and I know we've joked about the bribery money, like $1 million or but let's say some force, I don't know, Spotify, whoever says, hey, Mwaf, Iko Nini, you guys allow what you're doing. I'll just give you guys a budget to explore what you can do. Because I have ideas. I tell you, sometimes they keep me up at night. I have so many ideas. And of course, some of the limiting factors are finances. Because there's some things you need a certain budget to be able to implement. I want to do short film documentaries. There's so much stuff I want to document. There's a way I want to do the pod. So what does because I know this guy, if this guy is given $1 million, he'll be shooting in 19K. the kind of equipment I can imagine you would get. My God. Probably even the ability to dangle. So what does that look like? If you guys got a grant, someone says, you guys explore, how much do you need? $5 million? Okay. What can you do with $5 million?
Damn. Because to me now it would be just have a team. Nacheki, like as I was saying hapo mbeleni, I feel like it's time for a team. Like yes, it's good that we are eating and it's good that everyone can pay rent, but is that where we want to take this? Because when I look at as I was saying, wanaangalia mic check, if you've gone for their shoot, so it's a big team.
Yeah.
Kutoka mic check angalia when you go if eventually ukienda kuobina you'll see it's a huge team. Sijui Dr. Kingori kukaje, is it a huge team?
It's quite a big team.
So when I look at all these people
guys,
and I'm like there's a reason why they've been able to reach that level. This thing of 2 people, 3 people, kama the day we are here when we were shooting, one camera stopped shooting and we didn't notice because it was just us in the room. So that needs to stop. So having that team and having a team that now if they can borrow something from mimi neza furahi sana ile just give it 100% and try to give it your best because kuna kitu moja like I always laugh about and that's like the corporate world stories where things that we went through in the corporate world. So I'll always give the story of, for example, NTV. Not NTV, Nation Media Group, where like one of my bosses was trying to screw one of my whatever, sindio? And then another example ni kama Royal Media where niliingiaga na certain salary nikambo itakuwa reviewed. It was never reviewed. And I remember there's this once that I was so sad, sijisahau, and I was walking behind Muthoni Buika, and for a second I was distracted because she had that you know, she was
your intrusive thoughts were
yeah my nini, and I always remember that day because I was so sad, and for a split second like then I went back to my sadness because you love because you love this job, but this job never does nini but kilinaweza taka watu wajue ni the way if you're working for someone it does not have to be 100% comfortable. Achikio your design, so you don't want someone who shows up and thinks watu wamejuana. I mean, these people tumejuana for over 20 years, so there's a friendship with this. So since there's a friendship, kuna vitu we can let each other get away with. But if you're coming in and you're new, you won't have the same leeway. So usikama hapo alafu take kuwa kama sisi
vibes,
alafu kuwe vibes and inshallah,
you know, you can borrow a lead from in terms of that. Joe Biden, I think now he's mastered the art of friendship business, and he doesn't blur the line, as in you're still my homie, but business is business.
So yeah, a team. Like I really think a team can take us to the next level. I feel like there's something there.
And fun enough, I'm at the exact same point we started with that. In fact, of course, on a different scale, but I know also now I have to invest more all around to now scale. I think I've given myself, in 1 year, I've given myself a proof of concept. But now I like saying gears. Yeah? So I was telling when folks, now I want us to put gear 2.
Yeah.
We've been on gear 1. We've kind of seen what it can be. We've seen what it is. We kind of have a workflow. We kind of understand the model. But now to take it to that extra level, we have to put gear 2. And that requires investment, and it requires a lot more time sacrifice. So I think we can close with that. And
alafu pia lazima ni kushout out, man. Like every time nikuja hapa nione all these angles, I'm like I think I was even telling Ian Evo, like it's time for us to have that different angle. Cheki. So like now mimi there's something that Kiss Bandit said that it's true about me. Because I enjoy Kiss Bandit, I never buy stuff unless it's brand new. I never buy anything old that's not on offer.
Anything old that's not on offer?
Yes. Like it's new but old. You understand? Like so kama camera tuko na A7 IV. And the reason we have the A7 IV is because it was on offer. So like right now A7 IV is not on offer, so I'm not messing with it. But let's say A7 V comes and it's not too far from A7 IV, I can buy A7 V at the right price. I always feel like technology gets better with time. So why am I paying the same amount of money for a technology that's 3-4 years old as nipatia offer? So kasa hizi na hopefully during initongoni Prime Day, kuna kuwaga na Prime Day. Do you know about Prime Day? So Prime Day is this day that happens with Amazon where they give you 2 days of shopping where a lot of stuff is cheap affordable, and it's for Prime members. Yes. So being a Prime member, of course, you can game the system. So unaweza baki umechukua trial ya 1 month, you'll still get the offers. Unaweza kuwa squeezy niliachaga hivyo, so now I just pay for it. And so now I'm waiting for that time. And if that time there's an offer on a camera, now we'll get the second camera, you see, and just have that angle. It's just your scaling, your quality. You want quality to be consistent.
I feel
you want what? So yeah.
The Babu Wino episode, I mean, there's something you pointed out, and my next purchase is I'm buying 3 lenses for the camera. I saw Sajid, shout out Sajid and Coffee Pump. They've also taught me in terms of crisp video, man. It makes the content just look that much better. You know? So that's something I'm also working on. Ian, anything you'd like to say?
Like thanks, me and Mekuja hapa for the first time. I don't know, let's support each other.
And next time you get the story, now you come alone, you get the story. As in, I want to do a life story.
No. Me, I'm easy. Actually, Mwafreeka need drag along.
Nilikuwa nimwambia like the way you wanted him, I was like, at least come and apologize.
Because the show we did
person. Because your show tulifanya, a lot of things happened. umestruggle kamera nika ili notice una struggle ikazima so kamera yake ilizima
Pole man, pole.
kamera yake ilizima but but pia vile tu buda you're doing a good job. Like you've been nowadays I think a lot of people know Eotwe. Unajua watu Eotwe so
I still get shocked. That's something
Atule jamaa big BTM.
I've never kubali that I'm kind of known. I still get startled. So I'll come, hey, even today at the airport, a guy came with psych and I'm like, it takes like 5-6 seconds to click YouTube.
Okay.
Because I'm always waiting to like I thought maybe you ask me something about the flight or you want me to show you where to board your aircraft. Like YouTube, man. YouTube. So that's a new thing, man. But but it's been a lovely journey so far, and I appreciate all the support you guys have given me, allowing me to just feature. Calling Mwafreeka and Ian, like, you guys, man, cash I'm off. Can I come?
Because he was calling me from the airport in the morning.
And he lets me come. Actually, yes, I was in between flights that time. Because I went to Malindi first, came back, and then I said, because I couldn't reach him, like, let me call you. You could hear the chaos in the background, eh?
No.
It wasn't too loud, because I was in the terminal, though.
Okay.
So it's been every other time with Eric. A fantastic episode. This should be 49, 50.
Okay. Damn.
Hope it's 50.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's 50.
Yeah.
Let's keep it
on the road to 50.
Yeah, it's
even
been such a
49.
pleasure.
49 is 7 times 7, which is an interesting number.
Like I say, I'm trying to figure out how to do, because why not 3 guys? Why can't Rapture be here? We need to figure that out. We need to figure out how we'll angle things and put chairs and everything so that we can do like a proper, the full Iko Nini squad.
Okay. If
you haven't subscribed, man, come on. Man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Every other time with Eric, we've had the Iko Nini squad, Mwaf, Ian. It's been a fantastic episode. It's a wrap.
Iko Nini.